might be like 8 or 9 months till I ended up getting my first tier one credit card from Amex, which is the Bonvoy, which gave me 180,000 Bonvoy points.
Wow.
And if I have $100 of bill, like $100 of credit card statement, I would always pay off like $97 out of it.
Did you come from India with some credit history that was transferred to the US?
So you can transfer the points between the airlines. And sometimes they would give 50% bonus. So you can actually spend 1,000 points to get 2,000 Avios points or maybe more.
If you accidentally kill the credit card, cancel it, you lose big chunks
Absolutely.
of your credit history and your score goes down. The differences you feel on a financial system, US versus India. So hello everyone, today we have Dibyadip here. He came to the US with no credit history but was able to get 780 credit score within 6 months. To give you all some background, an immigrant, when they come to the US, even in 2 to 3 years, getting a credit score above 700 is extremely hard. Getting a credit score that high is almost next to impossible, and he made it possible. We're going to get to know all of that, the importance of credit score, importance of credit history, and how it has helped me as an immigrant in the US. So hi Dibyadip, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, this is Dibyadip Das. So I am a senior data scientist working in a healthcare company, and I landed in US in 2023. I did my research that it's US runs on credits, so like credit cards are one of the most important things that are required when you are doing your spending and planning your finances in the US. So it has been one of my goals to make sure that how I can get those good credit cards, which most of newcomers face challenges and issues when they first land in US. I have seen many videos of you also, Hernode, like showcasing many of your, credit cards, telling about like secure credit cards, what it is and how they work. But I wanted to, find a way, like a proper legal way, how I can use or build my credit score so that I can get those good credit cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like credit cards, not just normal credit cards. For example, credit cards like Capital One credit card, which is giving you priority pass and gives you
Yeah.
75,000 miles so you can book one free flight to India. Credit cards like Chase
That's
Sapphire, all are in description below, by the way. And Chase Sapphire, which was giving at one point 150,000 points. Credit cards like Amex, which gives you 125,000 points and amazing perks, lounge, and these points are so valuable and help you book business class. I booked my first business class flight because of these points. But there are benefits beyond a good credit card. Can you walk us through like what was your dream in your mind that you want to get a high credit score for? Like what you wanted to achieve with high credit score?
So two things. First of all, like I wanted to get a new vehicle when I'm in US. So for getting a new vehicle, you need a loan, and if you don't have a good credit score, you end up, having a much higher interest rates, which usually like new comers, like be it a professional, be it a student, right? They would end up, paying higher interest than people who have a good credit score. So that was one of the motivating factors. The second one is the points. The game of credit cards and the point system is what makes you like more interested towards getting those higher tier credit cards, which is like I would say the Chase Sapphire, which you just talked about, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, I would say, which is easier to get than the Reserve one, or the Amex Marriott Bonvoy card, which I have, which is again a very good card.
For
Uh,
hotels. Mhm.
yes, for it is for hotels, and they also give you priority pass, and and it requires a really high score of more than 750 at least to qualify for that credit card. So I was going through various rules that are there already established, and I was trying to look into like ways to make my credit score jump higher than how it usually would happen, like for others. So I can go into like a detailed step-by-step process of what I did. Like I did couple of things. The first time I landed in US, I was looking for I asked my colleagues, and this is only for professionals, I believe won't be applicable for students.
Sure. Once again, sorry. Once again, sorry to cut you off. So basically, you wanted to get maybe car at an interest rate of 2%, like you got,
Yes,
and you wanted points through credit card. That was two big
yes,
dreams you had. And
that's
it
correct.
actually, to specify, there are dreams above that you can have. For example, if you want to buy a house 4 years later, that
Oh,
was
yes.
the timeline too, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
So I have not, it was not in one of my list or goals as of now, but definitely that will be a factor going forward. If I want to invest in a house, definitely like real estate, that's going to help a lot.
Amazing. So now, since you had that dream, all right, now what were the steps you took to achieve it? Like step by step, because 6 months in a short timeline, it seems impossible.
So I believe it would be like more than 6 months, a little bit more than 6 months, might be like 8 or 9 months. Till I ended up getting my first tier one credit card from Amex, which is the Bonvoy credit card, and which gave me 180,000 Bonvoy points.
Wow.
And 180,000 Bonvoy points is approximately like point 0.8 cents per point. So around like I think more than $1,000 in that range of
1,400 to $1,500. Yeah.
yes, approximately like that. But then these points can be transferred, and I'll come to that part. But I want to first come to what are the practices and what are the ways that one can help building their credit score. So I would divide this into four pillars. The first one being that you can always pay your bills on time. Okay, so you should not the statement date or the due date, you should not delay your payments. So that is the first thing that one should always keep in mind, that never default on your payments whenever you're making like payments for your credit card bills. So you should always make that payments on time. Now, apart from the general rule, what I did was I always paid off like if I have $100 of bill, like $100 of credit card statement, I would always pay off like $97 out of it. So I only keep 3% as a bill that goes into the credit the
Debit.
credit bureaus. Yeah, the credit bureaus when they report your credit history, right? And the statement will also only will be of $3. Yes. So what happens because of doing that is like since you're already paying off extra, your credit utilization is only $3. Like if your $100 is your total, credit card balance,
Limit.
and yes, credit card limit, don't spend like 100%. Even if you are spending 100%, that's not a problem. But before the bill generation date, like which is your last day or the bill generation day, you should always pay off like keep 3%, so pay off 97% of it, and that will definitely help in building your score much faster. It will like jumpstart your credit scores. So yeah, that is one thing which I always do and have been doing it to have, and always try to have the credit utilization less than 10%. So I can apply for more credit cards. Like I can have like one more credit card that gives me $100 more, but I will not spend $10 if I have $100 credit limit. So don't spend like 10% of any of yours. And that again, that triggers to the bank that you are not a good spender. So yeah, and yeah, that is the second point which I wanted to mention. The third point is that wherever there is an option to pay by credit card, always pay through credit card. And that's what I do. So I have something called as an HSA card, which I can use for my medical bills or my medical expenses. But I will always end up spending using my credit card, and then I would reimburse those bills from the HSA account. So that way you are still getting your points for those, and you're getting reimbursed because you have your original receipts, and they only need the receipts to get your reimbursement done. From like it could be a receipt from the hospital, it could be a receipt from the pharmacy, anything like. You just have to upload the correct receipts and you get your reimbursements done. So that way I was able to get more and more spendings done in a controlled manner so that I can get the benefit of the credit card as well. And the fourth thing or the fourth practice that I do is I usually would wait and not apply for many credit cards at the same time, because the moment you apply, you are actually reducing your credit score because of the inquiries. So there is a hard inquiry that happens every time you apply for a credit card. I have seen many people, they are not getting a single credit card, then they would just go and try to apply for another one in that same month, and that would actually drastically reduce the credit score. So don't make such mistakes. Like whenever you're like you really want to get that one credit card. I know, like maybe that Prime Visa credit card is is something that you really want, but for that 5% cashback from Amazon and you do a lot of shopping, but just hold on for a while. Don't just keep on, applying for it, because every time you apply, there is a credit hit on your account, and you will end up reducing your score.
100%. So, number one, obvious, like pay your credit cards on time. Number two, like put only 3% on the credit bill or, credit statement. So, for example, let's say I spend $100 every month. The moment I spend that, I will pay $97 the same day and only $3
Perfect.
on the statement day or auto
Yes.
pay. And then next would be like not applying for many credit cards at once. And number three was spending credit cards for most expenses like HSA, etc. So these four basically you mentioned, right?
Yes.
So as simple as it sound, but it is still hard to get really credit score, which for some student who comes to the US at 18, it's really hard. You had you had experience in India, you were coming at a good age. Age is also a factor in credit history. So can you
Correct.
share, did you come from India with some credit history that was transferred to the US?
No. So there are ways where you can transfer your credit history from India to US and get credit cards here, good credit cards here. But again, no, I did not follow that path. I was like a clean, like a zero credit or whatever is the default credit that gets for any new people. I was in that bucket or in that category. But what I did as a thing which is different is that I tried to look for, you can always have people who has accounts. So for example, if your spouse is already working here in US, they can add you as an add-on card or as a partner in a credit card, and that way you can share your credit score, and that is also one of the ways where you can expedite your scores to get a better score. That is also one way. What I did was, like, our company had partner with one of the banks, like they had a tie up, and I ended up opening an account in that specific bank for my salary account. And that is one of the ways where I was able to get a normal credit card and not a secured credit card, although it was a tier 1 very basic credit card, but still it was not a secured credit card. Secured credit cards are given to those people who don't have any credit history, but based on my like job and role and the experience which I had, the bank did allow me to get a normal credit card.
Wow.
It's a very basic credit card, but you can get into the game really fast with a normal credit card than a secure credit card, because secure credit cards takes time. It looks at your payment history. Even if you do all these things, it will not matter much on a secure credit card than it will be on a normal credit card.
Yeah, secured credit card is basically like a debit card, right? So you
It's
get
like a debit card.
$1,000 and you put money first and then spend it on the credit card.
Correct.
And you don't build credit score on that easily.
You don't build it, but you have to hold that for certain amount of time, like at least 1 or 2 years before, at least 1 year, I think, before you can actually get a normal credit card. But you can always jumpstart, look for, if there is any partnership with any of the banks or tie-ups with your company, you can definitely reach out to that bank rather than going to some other banks.
I see. So you created a credit card because your company was partnering with the corporate card. So you got a corporate card because of your job position, because you were working with the company, and that helped you boost your score. You know,
Yes.
you got the leverage.
If someone has a corporate credit card, okay, like let's say they have an Amex corporate credit card,
Uh-huh.
and this is only true for Amex. I don't know if it is true for others. If you use your Amex corporate card and apply for a personal credit card, you get a certain amount discounted on your the annual fee of the credit card.
Wow.
So yes, so even if you can get a really high, or a good credit card just based on your corporate card, so that is also one more way. But it was not Amex; it was for me. But yeah, for Amex there is this, like if you have an Amex corporate card, definitely you can uh, do this.
Okay.
Get a good, like even a platinum card or a gold card right away.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
let me repeat. So basically you had some sort of corporate credit card that allowed you, so let's say it is Amex or any other credit card, it allowed you to
Mhm.
get a personal credit card later sooner. So
Yes.
you accelerated your credit card journey with a
Yes.
corporate credit card and then getting a personal credit card.
Yes. You can do that. Yes.
Wow.
Perfect.
Fascinating. Amazing. I'm so happy to know. Okay, so this is a great formula. Now, can you describe like the biggest perks? Like I want to tell like, the 180,000 perks you mentioned with your Bonvoy Marriott credit card. How many
Mhm.
hotel visits do you get with that 180,000 points in a normal city?
So let me first explain like what are the perks of a credit card. Okay, so the number one perk is either it could be your cashback or it would be your points. Okay,
Correct.
yeah. So points for any of the banks, like be it Bank of America or Chase or Amex, like they have all of their own point system. But where the points makes like where people usually make mistake is that they would redeem those points for statement credits. So what they would do, they would just put those points as a statement credit and take money out of and convert the points into money, which is the worst way of, actually spending those points.
Correct.
Because you will end up, less than a cent if you do that. But the way, so that is the perk, right? So the perk is that when you use these points efficiently, so when you transfer these points, so for example, if you transfer Chase points to Marriott Bonvoy points, or to, let's say, Qatar's this Avios points, so then, or like British Airlines also has Avios, so they are all like under one alliance, so you can transfer the points between the airlines, and sometimes they would give 50% bonus, so you can actually, spend 1,000 points to get 2,000 Avios points or maybe more, because sometimes the point value also differs. Like one Chase point could be of worth of value of 1.25, Avios points, right? So usually they would be more if you do that. So that is also one of the perks where I see, it is a really good way of using it or utilizing it. The second perk is that all these banks, right, would give you portals for booking your flights, booking your hotels, where they will give you a significant amount of points. So, for example, let's say you are booking a hotel or you're booking a flight to India, you can always, book your first flight through these portals, the bank portals, like the Chase travel portal, or Capital One has their own Capital One travel portal, wherein they'll give you sometimes 6x points, or when there are certain like they sometimes they'll give you extra bonuses if when you're doing for the first time, booking for the first time, and you get like 20x points sometimes, right? You will always end up, getting more through these portals, although you are not spending more, you are not paying more. But I what I would do is I would choose a date using Google Flight and see which is the cheapest one during the window which I want to travel. Then I would come back to the Chase portal, or any of these banking travel website, and I would just book my flight through those portals and get the maximum point. And then I would transfer it to a travel partner. It could be a hotel, it could be an airline, and then stay there free or or fly free, anything like that.
True. Not just that, like, Capital One portal gives you price match. So let's say you
Yes,
book, let's say you see on Skyscanner or any Wago or any website, you see a flight for $900. Get that screenshot, get that evidence, go to Capital One, submit it, and they will make a $1,200 flight on Capital One website
correct.
to 900, and you get points as well. It's just
Correct.
mind-blowing perks you get, and it's convenient. And also, like, such my favorite credit card has to be Capital One, because you pay 300 something dollars for as an annual fee, and they give you back every year in the travel portal. If you book a flight, get 350 immediately, instantly, and plus you get priority pass. So
Correct.
it has to be
Yes.
at 2x points on everything you buy. So it has to be my favorite. And now here comes an important question. Like, can you explain the Marriott Bonvoy points? Like, how much hotel booking can you get with it? 180,000 points.
So usually like a normal tier hotel, maybe a 3-star hotel or a 4-star hotel would you would end up spending around 40,000 for 1.5 night or maybe one night sometimes based on the time that you book
So
that
5 days.
hotel for. Yeah,
Yeah.
approximately like 5 days. Usually, like I would say, non-seasonal. Seasonals would be like much higher when you're going during holidays and vacation time. It will be much higher during those times. But yes, during like normal time, if you're going and for like a weekend road trip, definitely like these are really helpful. They also give you a gift. I think they call it something like a gift certificate or a stay certificate, something like that, wherein you can stay for 80,000 points in a luxury hotel once a year, and they give you priority pass for you and your dependents, probably like one adult and two children more than the primary holder, and you are able to use that. And I've used in many of the airports, and that's really good. That's one of the perks that really offsets the annual fee. It has a very high annual fee, like a platinum card, Amex Platinum card. It's more than Amex Platinum probably. No, a little bit less than Amex Platinum. Uh, then another thing is that with this you get all the benefits of Amex offers. So whatever Amex offers are there, you get benefit. You get again 2x points for any spending. And also, the best part is that with all of these multipliers, right, that you get for the food, there is, I think, $300 food credit. So every month, whenever I am using for any other restaurants or on, I would actually end up spending using this card, and it would actually get, reversed. That transaction get reversed, and the cashback gets added automatically per month for that $300 amount. So that's how it is. It's really, so you have to offset first your the annual fee that you're paying, right? First year will automatically be offset by the amount of points that they give. And usually I will always wait for an offer. So I will never go for a default credit card just because it's good, and I will never apply for it until and unless they give an offer. I'm not going to go for that credit card at all. So that is one of the first policies that I have adopted since very beginning. This will save your a lot of your credit score getting hit because of these hard inquiries, and also it will help you get most out of that credit card.
Totally.
Maybe it can offset 2 years of your annual fee sometimes, the amount of bonuses that they give, joining bonus.
Yeah, that's mind blowing. And like, you can add your partner as a account holder, and they can spend money, they can get points as well. It accumulates. And most
Yes.
importantly, here I want to bring out the point that every credit card you get first offset, as you mentioned, offset the yearly fees. If you are not able to offset it, downgrade and get rid of the credit card. Do not cancel it, downgrade it. That's very important. If you
Yes.
if you accidentally kill the credit card, cancel it, you lose big chunk of
Absolutely.
your credit history, and your score goes down.
Correct. That is true. And also it reduces your total credit limit. Remember that 10% rule which I talked about. So as per the FICO rules, it should be 30%. But 30% is the rule. But one should always make it 10% as their personal goal, because If you hit 30%, then you don't get any benefit. If you're less than 30%, then you get that benefit. But if you make it zero, then you again don't get any benefit because there is no statement generated. So
Yeah.
nothing gets reported. So you have to
Wow.
make sure that you always spend 10% uh, of that total credit limit. And when it comes for statement, you always end up, only 3% get reported as a statement. But as soon as you cancel, that whole chunk of your credit limit goes away. So let's say you're having $20,000 credit limit on a card, and if you close that card, then that $20,000 is now less than what you are. So you have to now make your spendings again, adjusted.
Yeah, totally. So that's something you have to keep in mind. And by the way, when you say credit limit, are you talking about the 3%? Are you talking about the whole, like all the credit cards you have, or per credit card? Let's say one credit card
So
I have, it
you,
has 10,000 credit limit, other credit card I
Mhm.
have 5,000 credit limit. So
Total is 15 right now. And now let's say you close down your $5,000, and your spending is like, that 10% of that $15,000. Now you have to adjust your spending, right? Because you're closing down your total credit limit is no more 15,000. It has now come down to $10,000. So you have to make yourself like, under 10%, which is like $1,000 rather than $1,500 which you were spending previously, right? So you could spend $1,500 for a 15,000 credit limit. But now that you have closed down, you have only like $1,000. So you have to make sure that your spending is $1,000. Or if it goes up, you have to again, adjust it and pay that extra amount from your account so that it is below that amount.
so
Yeah.
you're saying whenever we talk about credit limit, we talk about combined, not one credit card. Combined.
For the credit bureaus, it is combined. Like if I'm talking about these FICO scores, right? It's always combined. So they don't look at your individual like credit cards. They will always look at the combined and tell like how good you are, a good a spender you are, like how good you are utilizing your credits.
Totally. And in India, like a vast majority of people do not own a credit card. Like the truth is, you go to Axis
Yes.
Bank, you go to HDFC Bank, these private banks want a minimum balance of 10,000 to 25,000 rupees. And then want you to have a credit card with a yearly fees of 3,000, 10,000. Because of that, people prefer UPI. What are your thoughts about the differences you feel or culture shocks you feel on a financial system, US versus in India?
The way I think about spending in US and in India is totally different. Okay. So here the perks of a credit card is much higher than the perks that you get in India. So in India, you first have to have a certain amount of spendings in order to waive off your annual fee. So you have to spend always, let's say, 30,000 or 40,000 rupees if you want to waive off your annual fee. There is nothing like that here. And there is no usually like normal credit cards will not have any perks, and the points that you acquire using credit cards in India is of very less value. So maybe a 10,000 points in a credit card will only give you 100 rupees. Okay, whereas a 10,000 points here would give you a very significant amount of dollar value. So when it comes to that value of points, it is much higher in US than in India. So in India, I used to always have only one credit card, and that was everything. And I used to only use that for like Amazon shopping, or it could be for only travel purposes wherever I get a discount, right? So there, it's only about discounts. Like if banks are giving discount, you only are like you are only saving that amount, and that too, like it's very, I would say, the price is really adjusted, right? When there is an offer, the prices would go high, and you eventually end up paying a very small amount of savings, or you save very little basically. um, so basically, credit cards in India is not that good, I would say, than how the credit cards are used here in US. UPI is something that is totally revolutionizing. Like it has like totally changed the way we think about digital transactions. Definitely, that is, I think, one of the best ways that India has made digital transactions, possible. And it is something instant, right? So unlike here in US, where transactions take a significant amount of time to get settled, like at least 3 days, 3 working days, I would say. Uh, and it's a security feature here in US, but there everything is instant. Like you instantly transfer money to an individual. Yeah. Like there is a pros and cons for both the sides. There are like scams that could happen because of that instant transfer here. Like it's two side of a coin, I would say. So there is pros and cons on both the sides, but definitely like when it comes to India, the huge population, the huge amount of digital transactions that we are making today, we are challenging every day on our digital transaction limits that is being held. And probably we are breaking our world record every day for
India, right?
digital transactions. Yes, in India because of the
Absolutely.
UPI, and it's the evolution and the adoption is like really crazy when I see like as compared to US, right? So there are places in US where still you cannot pay by credit card.
Yeah.
You only have to carry cash. There are certain cities like you'll hardly find an ATM. Also, like it's difficult to find ATM and people not taking like smaller cities. So yeah, that is also there. But in India, I would say like now, even in villages, I would see like probably people using UPI for their daily transactions.
100%. Wow, very well said. I totally relate to the point of like, UPI is way better than Venmo. People say that UPI is just like Venmo. Do you think UPI is superior technology than US, Venmo, Zelle, etc.? You have used both, right?
Yes. So it is it's a two side of a coin, I would say.
Uh-huh.
Both has its pros and cons. So the so UPI is much faster and it is instant, right? So you get your transactions instantly and you don't have to rely on somebody, to register. So usually they have to register through the banks, but again, that is backed by the government. But when it comes to Venmo or Zelle here in US, it's a private organization that they are maintaining. So I don't know, like the level of trust is I think with more with UPI than
Correct.
with Venmo or Zelle, I would say, because it is
100%.
managed by private organizations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like bank to bank, and Venmo is like private company, money
Correct.
here, here. And like Venmo can do a scam, who knows? Like last year, I want to say there's a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
It caught up to $20 billion and gave to consumers' hands by
Mm-hmm.
investigating, for example, cash app frauds, Venmo, all that. Like no, you don't know when private companies can do a mistake, not intentionally, unintentionally, and there has to be a check. And because of that, there is CFBR in the US, and India doesn't need that if like UPI is that trusted from one bank to
Yeah.
another. Fascinating. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dibyadip. It was wonderful learning from you about credit history. There is a formula people can investigate, but all this knowledge to get your dream credit score, it can be fed in the formula. But if you just take these steps carefully, you will have the dream credit score. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
As always, wonderful talking.
Thank you, Arnold.